discuss about the integrated talent management. So far we have discussed about it is the how we will be managing the talent and what are the principles of the talent management are there and what are the different practices of the talent management by the Indian organizations that we have seen so far, and organizations in India and their talent management practices. Now today we will see about the integrated what it means, that is the first we will try to understand the concept, that is the whenever we use the word integrated. So, exactly what will be the functions, what will be the roles that we will be covering in the integration. Naturally integration means more than one. So, that concept first we will discuss. Then what are the primary components of the model in the integration, what dimensions are the factors are the components which are integrating and then creating the talent management practices. Then dynamic approach to talent management, there are different approaches, there is no static approach, there is a dynamic approach. Why it is dynamic? Because you see that we so far I hope you have understood, that is there is an individual, there is a group, there is an organization, there is a situation, there is an environment, there are the practices, there is a work culture. So, all these factors they are creating the dynamic approach to the talent management. Then the competency development, how to develop the competency, future workplace, the 2020 leader, what are the characteristics are there, and learning and leadership development we will be discussing, that is the how we are going to learn and leadership development is there. So, what is the integrated talent management is there. Now, here you will find that is the there are the 4 factors which are very important, that is the assessment, acquiring, deploy, develop. So, in this case same which we have talked about, that is the how we have in the case of the recruitment or the planning of the talent management, acquisition of talent management is there. Now, in the acquisition of talent management we talk about that is the employer branding, how the employer creates the brand, that we have seen in the last session, in which we have talked about that is there are certain practices by the organization, so that the employees are not only satisfied, the employees are internal customer. So, it is not the customer satisfaction, it is the customer delighted. So, therefore, that internal customer employees, they are not only happy, but they are delighted in the organization. So, that creates an employer brand. So, great workplace, and in the great workplace there are the so many practices by which they are giving the freedom, flexibility, and the examples are the flexible working hours or the job profiles matching with the personality, choose your job, craft your job, crafting of the job, that is also the comes under the employer branding, where the organizations they craft, they ask the employees, you craft your job. It is not the organization will give you that this is the your job profile and job description and job specification. No, you craft your job, and that if the such support is given by the organization, then definitely there will be the employer branding, strong employer branding will be there. Then in the acquisition basically it is a recruiting and selection is there, right, and then they are putting the employees on board, and onboarding is very important. Now you see that onboarding, why this is word has been used. Onboarding means now they are ready to take off. So, once you are boarded, then you are supposed to take off. Take off means the excellent performance in the organization, and therefore, in that case it is very important, that is the how the onboarding is done. If the boarding is not properly done, right, then the people will not enjoy the takeoff. So, it is just like when we are traveling in a plane, and then if you are not comfortable in the boarding, and that is why the boarding is given that much of importance. If you have done that boarding, then you can go to the new heights in the career, and similarly the plane goes into the, that is the analogy is there. Now, once you have done the onboarding, then you have to deploy them. Deploy means what? The goal alignment. Now, always we have to see the individual goals and organizational goals. This is very important. In the case of the individual goals, what is the individual goal? Individual goal will be, first will be the survival in the organization, second will be the happiness in the organization, and third will be the growth in the organization. So, goal alignment, all these goals, right, that has to be aligned. What it means? Employee should be first have the comfortable at the workplace, then he should be happy, and then he should be aligned with the organizational goal for the development and growth opportunities. This will be possible only with the help of the career path. So, your career path, everybody decides its career path. Some people decide the job path. There is a difference between the job and career. So, this boarding and takeoff, somebody will not like to go to that much heights. That is not the objective, or we can say there is no competency also. But it is not necessary that is all competent persons will take off, right. It is the individual's choice of the job or for the career. But in general, when we are talking about the talented people, talent management, so by default, by design, it comes that is the people will be interested to make their career, and therefore, in integrated talent management, it is not the job, it is the career which have been taken into the consideration. Then nowadays, the role of the learning and L&D, learning and development, that has become very important, right. So, as the age group, there is no age for the learning as such, and there is no age limit for that, and the people can learn, even the people learn after the retirement. In our department, one the MD doctor of retired from army, and then he has done PhD from the Department of Management Studies IIT Roorkee. So, therefore, you can't say that is there will be the particular age of learning and development, but in general when we talk about the demographic variables and the age and learning. So, naturally in the early stages of the age your learning is fast and you are keen to learn. After that there are examples, but maybe there are some exceptions. Right, some examples, maybe the exceptions are there, but so those who learn after the retirement, but there are. So, L&D is becoming, the deployment is very important, that what technology do you use, how you are making them the learn and develop, how you are focusing on their goals, as I mentioned organizational goals and individual goals, and to achieve that individual goal, to reach that height, it is important that is you are learning something new. Learning means new. So, you are changing yourself with a period of time and you are developing. The change is positive, change is not negative, change is positive, and you are developing, and therefore, learning and development is there. On the basis of that, what we do? Performance management is there. So, this performance management, that will be depending upon, that is the whatever the job has been done after your recruitment. So, when the acquisition of the talent is done, when the deployment is going on, and then how the employee is performing. Because it is a basic principle in management, the ROI, return on investment. What is the return on investment? So, investment may be of the emotions, investment may be of the man, machine, material, money, method, minutes, whatever the investment is there. So, in that investment it is important that is there is a performance management evaluation will be done, and on the basis of that evaluation the organization will decide that is the where to place this particular talent, at the front line, at the middle level, or at the top level. So, therefore, that engagement and retention, the talent engagement, ये जैसे वो चिराग का जिन होता है वैसे है कि भाई यदि टैलेंटेड है उसको काम चाहिए तो एंगेजमेंट करना है. ही विल नॉट बी हैप्पी इफ़ यू कीप हिम फ्री एंड से कि ओके तुम बस बैठे रहो हम तुम्हें पगार देंगे. टैलेंट विल नॉट डू दैट. Talent will be worried, and I have meet many students and this type of employees. If they are idle, they become restless because they understand that this is not good. So, if somebody is giving them the salary and they are not doing any job, they will not appreciate. Talent will not appreciate. Some people might be there, but normally the talented people will not appreciate. So, what is required? Engagement is required. Engage them, and when you are making the engagement to them, then they are busy, they find the results, they continue organization, and there is a retention of the employees are there. Second important aspect is, that is in the development, is the inclusive culture. Inclusive culture means, I always give the example of the daughter-in-law, newly wedded daughter-in-law, when she comes to in-laws house after marriage, right. So, how the mother-in-laws treat? Inclusive culture. She says that you are the part of this family. So, new employee is also part of that organization, and if that organization, if he is accepted, right, and therefore, in that case you will find that is will be the inclusive culture is there. Now, you see there are the three types is there. First one is, that is the development and growth culture, that I say Uddar. Uddar means development culture, right. Then there is the Sudar culture. Sudar culture means, that is the improvement, it is development, right, and therefore, the corrective actions are taken, learning and development is done, employee has been included into the culture, and that is the Sudhar culture is there. So, Uddhar, Sudhar, or Swikar culture, accept it, right. So, therefore, in that case it becomes very important, that is the what type of culture you are. You are into that development culture. So, which culture the talent will like? Talent will like, that is the, if he has developed that competency, Uddhar is to be there, right, and therefore, he should be promoted, he should be given the chance to the higher positions, his growth, that will be there. But if he is not doing good, what is required? Sudhar is, improvement is required, and therefore, inclusive of that particular employee to make the corrective actions, or you find that is employee selected पर अब कुछ नहीं हो सकता, then स्वीकार, accept, that is this is a situation. So, therefore, these three strategies of the talent management, that has to be implemented at the right time with the right personality. So, therefore, it should not be mismatch, where Sudhar is required, improvement is required, there you please do not go for the acceptance, or because if you will accept as it is, there will be no Sudhar, there will be no improvement. But if there is a chance of improvement, we have to do the improvement and get to the Uddhar, that is the next level. The takeoff is very important, Uddhar means takeoff. So, therefore, in that case, there is the inclusive culture is to be there, identify the talent and apply the proper strategy. Then the workforce planning is important, that is now you see many organizations, what they will do, they will keep 10, 20, 30 number, there is no manpower planning, and they will keep the people, and then they will ask them, okay, now you leave. When you were not requiring that much, your planning should have been done proper, they would have tried somewhere else, got the job and got established. But when the organization does not have the proper planning, workforce planning is not there. So, what happens? It is just making the fun of the talent. So, therefore, a proper workforce planning is required. When you want to take, you take as much as possible, right. But but after some time, give them the job, place them, deploy them. But at the time of deployment, you say bench management, but job. अभी कुछ काम नहीं है, the talent will not like this. So, therefore, workforce planning is very important. Now, the last is the assessment, right. So, therefore, in the case of the assessment, it is the potential assessment. Here we have talked about the performance management. Here I would like to say that is in integrated management, it is the assessment is there, that is about the potential assessment. And when you find out that there is a potential, right, and if there is a potential, please keep him reserved for the higher position, that is a succession planning. You are searching the successor, there are many organizations who try to bring the best successor, but the successor could not do as the predecessor, and then there was a problem. But that is unfortunately, and sometimes it happens even in the most professional companies also, sometimes it happens, because the you never know human nature, human behavior, when it will be turned, when it will be like a dog, when it will be like a horse, when it will be like a cat, when it will be like a fox. So, therefore, in that case that succession planning, that is becoming very important. And then there will be the talent analyst. This is the this I will take a different sessions also on this talent, a full session I will like to take on the talent analysts and the analysis of the talent. Nowadays that is very important, and the popular also, and organizations are already practicing also. So, therefore, in that case that is a talent analysis is there. So, what should be the strategy? Strategy is to acquire, deploy, develop and assess, as a result of which what will be the results? You will get the right candidate at the right place. So, this is all about integrated talent management is there. So, acquire, assess, develop and deploy, career path, learning and development, already I have mentioned. So, I will go to the this. Now, the next point is a dynamic approach to the talent management. To attract the potential talent, extensive employer branding measures are taken. Now, the way, the impression of the family, khandan, and therefore, in that case that is the employer branding. In-laws branding, what is the in-laws branding is there, and then you find that is a history, and the history talks about that is the there are the many success stories, and there are the struggles, and the struggles are the faced by the team building dynamics. Every member of the family was working together, and now they tell to the next generation that is this is the story of the success, and therefore, that is the family branding, gharana branding, and that is the here we will talk about that is the employer branding is there. That there was a time when economic recession was there 2008 2009, right, 12 years back, and then that time how organization implemented different strategies, and all the family members of the organization, means executives, they worked together, they worked on the half salary, and there was no perk, everybody sacrificed for the perk, and today that organization is surviving and the growth is there. That is called the employer branding, dear friends. Employer branding does not come by the ornamental. That is the somebody is having the very good ornamental, and then the people say, oh, it is the branding, very good. It does not come like this. This comes by the hard work, it comes by the practice, it comes by the faith, it comes by the patience, it comes by the love, it comes by the belongingness, it comes by the citizenship, it comes by the optimism, and it comes by the happiness. So, therefore, the extensive employer branding to attract the potential talent. The companies are well known and popular, as I mentioned, they are known, families are known, they are well known and popular. Yeah, this is the family, this is the culture. So, in spite of all these attractions, there is no deviation. So, in spite of all these economic challenges, social challenges, legal challenges, technological challenges, organization is still surviving, and they stand for how? Innovation, new product development, security and stability, job security. We will share the bread. So, I remember during economic recession, many senior executives, especially vice president level and general managers, people in many organizations, what they did, they took the half salary. They have not taken the full salary, half salary, and they said that is the, let us see when the organization will make the profit, we will see. But today we will share our salary. So, therefore, that security, job security is there, stability. Like in the corona time, in spite of all the odds, Many organizations are with their employees, and that is the stability is there. No need to go anywhere. Continue, and maybe in the startups, I am not talking about the big houses, even maybe the startups, that is okay, we will share the bread, but you will not go, and that is the stability is there. Then in the good environment conditions, it is a good pay and conditions that enable a work life balance. Work life enrichment, that becomes very popular, that is if you are having the balancing of the different favorable and unfavorable. So, there is a continuity, there is a, it is a constant, and therefore, that work life balance is, that is favorable and unfavorable, challenging and the winning, all situations are coming into the life of an organization or the employees, and employees are balancing those situations. The effort seems to be worthwhile, but it will not come as it is. You have to make the efforts. You see, dear friends, what I am talking about, the dynamic approach to talent management, it will not come automatically. It will not, that is you are grabbing something and putting the culture. No, culture requires practice. As I mentioned, it requires patience, it requires tolerance. Nobody will learn your culture without cost. There will be the cost, right? And then you have to bear that. Are you ready to bear that cost? Culture will come. But if you are not ready to bear that cost, and cost, it may be very costly. I understand many times, not sometimes, many times imbibing that culture, developing that talent, it becomes costly. I hope you are understanding what I am saying. It is not the financial cost, it is the investment of emotions, it is the investments of time, it is the investment of the efforts, right, and that is giving the result. So, no trouble finding the enough applicants, as these companies have no trouble, because employer branding is there, so there is no trouble. Employer branding I have talked earlier in the earlier session also. To select external and internal talent, a challenging multi-level selection process is used. So, do not make the haste, go slow. First, let the applicant apply, have a software, have the keywords, see whether the candidate is fulfilling that particular key, satisfying the keywords or not, and if it is not, okay, no next step is required. But if he is fulfilling the keywords, then see that is the what type of the job profile he can do, then organization, then let him interact with your clients. Many organizations are doing that. They are not directly calling for interview and then selecting, and the selection is based on the interview. These method already have been noticed that this is not correct. It requires dating, it requires some time to spend together, and then we have to decide. And therefore, in that case it is with the go to the clients complaints, handle the clients, go to the dealers, handle the dealers, go to the meet the other stakeholders of the society, external, meet them, internal, meet some executives, and then your interview will be planned on the basis of the comments by the all. So, therefore, in that case it is the, and in addition to managers and the HR department, top management is often involved, right. So, that is the manager who is responsible for that with the help of the HR department, recruitment, that you know, and the top management is often involved. So, that the top management is interacting, understanding, even though the selection for the post is might be at the front level, but top management is directly involved. So, that the practices, that culture and those expectations, that can be checked. In rare cases, a talent can even nominate himself or herself. Nowadays, this is also a very common practice, right. Those who are interested in your organization and your organization is carrying a very good brand, so they will nominate themselves. Like now in case of these employment, you will see LOR, letter of recommendation, that has become very important. So, no final order will be released unless and until the LORs are not formed. The letter of recommendation, what has been mentioned, who is mentioning, what has and what are the contents, what are the strengths and weaknesses analyzed by the person, it is his responsibility, a serious responsibility. In addition to challenging and complex selection procedures, because the applicants are more, so the process becomes more complex, such as assessment centers. I have talked in the last session about the psychometric test, and in the psychometric test you will find these assessment centers are doing those tests and identifying the psychology of the candidate applicant, and that psychology are those responses into that by the respondent will be analyzed, and that result will speak the matching with the culture or not. Several interviews are conducted, as I mentioned, it is at the external stakeholders. External stakeholders are the customers or clients, interaction with the clients, interaction with the dealers, interaction with the society, and then with the internal customers, that is those who are the potential colleagues or the bosses or the different executives. Coordination is required with those departments managers. So, there will be so many people will meet and interact formally and informally, and then they will decide whether it is to be done or not. If a candidate gets hired, the development of the new employee begins with a systematic and standardized onboarding program, right. So, after this so many interviews are done, and then the person will be called for the onboarding programs. As part of the talent development, the majority of these companies have standardized career path that in most cases enable executives and professionals to pursue their careers. So, here you will find that is these companies have standardized career paths on the that if you see, remember that particular slide in which I have talked about, that is the development, you know. So, there is an acquisition, there is a deployment, and then there is a development. So, in most of the here it is a career path that professionals want to pursue in their careers. The main focus of the training offered is still on the development and promotion of future leaders. It will be depending on the development and promotion of the future leaders, as they have a major impact on the company and its culture. So, their top level executives, they will decide on the basis of these all these interactions is there. In addition, companies offer a comprehensive range of development opportunities, such as training courses or the coaching held by the external service providers, and like the headhunters. There are the headhunters, there are the coaches, right, external consultants, and then they all these they are making the development opportunities, training courses, right, and when we are talking about like these online programs, and many of you might be working executives as usual, and then you are taking this particular program. So, therefore, in that case these type of the training courses are the coaches, then the external service providers are there, like the MHRD has done this. In-house offering focus on networking events to bring talent together, and therefore, it becomes very important, that is the networking events are for the talent that has been brought together. As one interview describes the current development, in this case the example is also taken. So, in the talent management competency development key to global leadership, the global leaders are individuals who effect the significant positive change in the organizations by building communities through the development of trust. Trust building exercise is becoming very important, and as a result, and the arrangements of the organizational structures and processes in a context involving multiple cross boundary stakeholders and the multiple sources of the external cross boundary authorities. So, those who are the different stakeholders and authorities, and also the temporal, the geographical and the cultural, that complexity that will be taken into consideration whenever we are talking about the global leadership. So, in the global leadership, the major part is that is the geographical and cultural complexity is there, because there are the multiple sources, multiple leadership styles are there are multiple cultures are there. So, it will depend on that is the what is the geographical and cultural complexity is there. So, when we talk about the future workplace, collaborative mindset, developer of the people, mentor and coaches team, provides straight feedback, digitally confident, technology to connect to the customers and employees, global citizen, diverse mindset and anticipates and builds for the future, accountability across the levels, the champions, innovations are there. So, this is the future workplace that 2020 leaders are required, and therefore, that leadership requires the global leadership will be required. This type of the that seems to be emerging for the leader of the future as we have discussed here, and therefore, what is required? Collaborative mindset is required, developer of the people. Then the digitally confident, nowadays it becomes very important, uses the technology to connect to customers and employees. So, therefore, because you have to connect with the outside world. So, digital confidence is very important. Global citizen having the exposure has a diverse mindset. It is not like a single mindset, but it is a diverse mindset and prioritize the social responsibilities. This anticipates and builds for the future, builds accountability across the level and the champions innovation, that is the best part, that is how the champions are built. So, therefore, in this session, so we understand that is this dynamics of the talent management, it is coming from the cross cultural variety. There is a leadership which is required, the global leadership is required, and if you want that global leadership, you have to understand the acquire, deploy, development and assessment practices. Once you bring them, your branding is done, you are the best employer, you are the great place to work, and the talent will be attracted to you and will join you because of your these practices. So, I end this session here. Thank you.